What's going on, Excel fanatics? Verdexes here. How you guys doing today? Today's video is just going to be going over some CountIF, and conditional formatting. So I just came up with this scenario of, say you're working in HR and you're looking at payroll. Obviously this isn't a standard template. I'm sure they want some actual numbers in here, but hopefully this gives you some other perspective on the functions. So what I wanted to do, as you can see, I have Jenna, Christopher, Pink Panther, and Quagmire as my employees, and I have W for worked, V for vacation, and S for sick. So something I want to point out with conditional formatting, if I want to highlight this whole section, go to conditional, go over to equals to, and if I actually just press W, it'll highlight all the W's for me. So maybe I'll just leave that as green, just so that it's an easy reference. But what I really want to do is I want to see the total hours worked for the week, right? So a W is going to represent 8 hours. So since these are letters we're using, the formula count is not going to work because that only counts numbers. Actually, if you read the description right here. So if you use CountA, it will count everything. So let's use CountA. Let's highlight everything in that row. Close. And then let's multiply it by 8 because there's 8 hours in a day for this company. Click that down. Nope, that won't work. So if you drag it down, then it shows a total of 40 hours, right? So say we wanted to break it down a little bit further. So we don't want to just count all. Let's count the total hours worked. So that's where the CountIF function comes in. And what I think is always best practice is there is a CountIF and then there's CountIFs. I usually think it's better to get used to just one function. They both do the same thing, but CountIFs handles multiple criteria, but it can use just one at a time as well. So I think whether you're using CountIFs, SumIFs, that you should always stick with the ifs function just so you stay consistent. And I'll go over in a separate video about the difference with those two, but I usually, as a force of habit, I usually like to use ifs instead of just if. So here it counts the number of cells, right? So CountIFs, right? So we're going to set the criteria range and the criteria. So notice there's a criteria range 1, and it'll keep going on as much criteria as we want, but we're only going to use it to 1. So what we'll do with the range, we're just going to highlight the entire week. And the criteria we're looking for, because this is total hours worked, we're going to do in quotation marks, W, close parentheses. And we need to actually multiply this by 8, right? Just like what we did because it's 8 hours in a day. So Jenna worked 40 hours for the week. She's a good employee. So if I double click that down, it'll count that as well. So it counts the 2 days that Christopher worked, counts the 4 days that Pink Panther worked, and then Quagmire didn't work at all last week because he was sick. So let's break that down further, right? Because let's do the total vacation time. So it's essentially going to be the same formula, right? So let's do CountIFs. The range, then in quotation we'll do V this time for vacation, and there was no vacation taken from Jenna. 3 for Christopher. And what we can do actually to help kind of shorten the time a bit, let's just do copy, paste, and because I copied it over I have to remind myself to drag it the range up again, and then I need to update this to S for sick. And voila. So that's kind of a quick way to introduce yourself to CountIFs. And then you can actually, it doesn't have to be just numbers, obviously. You can use it for letters as long as you're using the quotation marks. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful. I will see you guys in the next video.